Hello, hello, and happy Tuesday. I'm so excited. We are going to be playing with our layered ornament. So the members already had, they already got to play with this. I'm just realizing I don't have any of my lights set up, but we're going to make it work. Been a little crazy. For those of you in the membership group, you know that we've had some air conditioning issues, and it's kind of thrown me off for all this week, which I know it's only Tuesday, but this week already feels like it's been an entire week. So there's that. But we're going to put all that aside, and we are going to have some fun playing with the layered ornament. And then we're also going to do, oh my gosh, I don't have anything facing the way it's supposed to face there. I also have a bunch of the holiday transfers here, so that I'm going to grab. Let me tell you what else I have that we're going to need that I'll be using for this. So these are our base ornament and our transfer. Hey, Miss Deborah. I did reconnect Facebook to my streaming platform. So I'm hoping, because we've had issues with Facebook like the last couple weeks. And then I heard on my, oh, I see a Facebook like, okay, so it is working. I've heard some other streamers have had issues as well. So I disconnected it and I reconnected it. And I'm hoping we're showing up on Facebook this week because I know that's super annoying. Hey, Pam. So I see Pam on Facebook. Hey, Miss Peggy. Okay, so this is what I have. Let me show you what else I've grabbed. Okay, so I'm just going to be using my Waverly, just the plain white, and I moved my camera again. This is going to be our background that we're going to use. And then I'm going to be using the wax today. So this is Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax in a brown. I've got some masking tape. We're going to be doing some layering, mixed media. We will need a rag for this. We've got our Mod Podge. We have got our E6000 to put our ornament together when we're done. And then I just got this, if you saw my reel that I did a little bit earlier, I just got this Rub and Buff gold leafing that I keep seeing all the crafters use. So I'm going to play with that today. Then for my little scraps in Notion, I've got a buffalo check napkin that I'm going to be using. I've got some ribbon scraps and some fabric for my bow. I do have this little gold button, and I believe this is one of our wood buttons, and I just painted it gold. So that was in last month's kit if you didn't use, or in the August kit if you didn't use all of it, or you could use any wooden button. And then I was just thinking, I just got these adorable little pine cones from Hobby Lobby. They're having their 50% off. So I'm going to try and work this into, I was just thinking that. What else do I have? I have my iron, because we're going to be doing mixed media. So we'll do decoupage and we'll do transfers. I've got my hot glue gun, and then I just have my heat gun to speed it up. Hey, Miss Debbie. Debbie sent us the sweetest email. Every time she gets her packages, she just gives us this beautiful picture of all her goodies because they have to make quite a journey to her. She lives outside of the U.S., so it has to go, I think, to Florida or something, and then it makes another journey. And so she always lets us know that it got there okay. Hi, Miss Cindy. Hey, Christine. Obviously, we'll need some scissors. We'll need our sander, and I always grab I get these popsicle sticks at Dollar Tree, and that's what I use to scoop out my glue. So I've got my iron on. We will need parchment paper. I'm going to turn my hot glue gun on now so I don't forget. And I think that's all the things. All right. So first we're going to bust into our ornament. So these we did as a bonus craft night with the members, and they absolutely loved them. And so we thought, you know what, let's make these available to everybody. So what it is it is a layered ornament. So we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you this part. So you basically get 2 ornaments with each bundle. I grabbed this one because it has the wood grain on it. I'm going to paint over it, so it's not going to matter. But so that's what each order comes with. So you get the topper, the base, and the insert. So this is a whole nother ornament. So that's what we're going to be crafting today. To get started, we're going to get our paint started because y'all know when we do transfers on top of any type of decoupage or paint, we want to give it plenty of time to cure or it will not stick. So I'm going to do that first. I'll do it fast too. But I do have a set over here that has been sitting that we're actually going to use. It's been sitting here for a minute, just so I don't have any accidents on the live. So to start, I'm going to start with my ring because this is where I'm going to be putting the transfer. Well, actually, I'm going to be putting the transfer on the base too, but since I already have them prepped, I don't have to worry about it too much. And then I'm going to show you another hack that I just figured out when I was prepping these for the paint that gets on the inside and the outside, because like when it gets inside or outside the ring, I've got to move everything over here. I took my overhead camera that I used for the lives down this past weekend because I was filming with my phone. And of course, when you put everything back up, it never ends up in the same place. So now I have to just remember to work a little bit more over here to the left. And then I think this camera is a little bit off too, but I don't want to mess with anything too much or I'll lose you. So we've had, hey, Miss Angie, we've had an eventful weekend. So I don't even remember. Friday was crazy, but I don't remember what happened. Saturday, we did a bunch of running around. That's when I went to Hobby Lobby and we went to a couple Hobby Lobbies and shopped there. 50% off Christmas. If you have one near you, highly recommend, because it's so early in the season. They had a ton of stuff, and I did. I won't go through everything now, but I did a reel to show you like my favorite finds that I got. I also got. They had a bunch of their frames on clearance, and they're just the frame. It doesn't have anything on the inside. So we have a new Decoupage rice paper that we're dropping. Not next week, because next week we're dropping the September designs, club designs, but it'll be the week after. And so we went to 2 Hobby Lobbies, and I think I got like 5 frames. So I'm going to have my husband cut the inserts for the frames so we can do those, but I'm super excited about those. That's another reason I got the rub and buff, because I want to play with it on those frames. Okay, so while this is wet, you can see I've got, you might be able to see, I'll try to tilt it. I've got some white on the inside here. Now, before I was showing you how to just paint to the outside. This is what I did earlier, and it worked so good. I'm just going to take my rag in my water and just get, you know, like a finger, just get a corner of it wet, not like sopping wet. And if you do this while it's still wet, you can actually just take your rag and just go through and wipe it all off, and it comes right off, and then you'll have that clean edge. So I'll try and show you on the inside. See how there's no more white in there? Oh wait, I lied. There's white right here. Okay, now there's no more white in there. But it works really well to do it this way. So that's my new hack. Next, I'm going to go ahead and paint the base of it, because I'm going to put the transfer here. Yes, Cindy. So, okay, I was going to get into that. Okay, so we did all running around on Saturday. I'm not going to paint the top up here because the topper is going to cover it, and I don't want to have to worry about trying to get the white off there. So Sunday, because I have to pretty much work on the business like every day, there's just too much to do to, you know, take a whole day off. So Sunday I got up and I just kind of jumped in. I had to do all the emails, and we have to flip this on Monday. We had to flip the site to the new design. So I did all those graphics. So I'm doing all that, and my husband like falls asleep on the couch. No big deal. So he wakes up at like 3:30 and he's like, "Why is it so hot in here?" And I was just like I remember thinking it was a little bit warm, but also menopause. So using me as a barometer is not the best choice. But I realized when he said that, because I always have to put my sweatshirt on in here. Like I always have my sweatshirt, especially in here because the air is like really cold. And I had realized when he said that, I haven't had my sweatshirt on like the whole afternoon that he fell asleep. And he goes and checks the air conditioning, and it's blowing hot air. It was 108 outside. So he looks at the thermostat, and it was, at that point, it was 81 inside our house. So I was like, ooh, oops. So it's Sunday, and in our neighborhood, a bunch of the, it's not the compressor, it's the capacitor, have gone out. And I remember last year when everyone was saying theirs was going out, I told my husband, I'm all, we should just order those now on Amazon so that we have a couple in case, because it's happening to everybody. Do you think I went and looked to see what it was that we needed? No, I said it out loud and then I didn't do it. So I'm thinking it's the capacitor. So we go watch how to take it out and put it in and all the things. And a lot of the neighbors had just went to Ace and got one. So we looked online and it said it was in stock. We went down there. It kind of was in stock. So basically, long story short, the Ace had ordered the wrong one. So the one we needed, they didn't have, but they thought their other Ace had it. Mind you, at this point, all of the Aces closed like within an hour. So the house is now 82. We went to a second Ace, struck out. We went to a third Ace, struck out. At this time, all the Aces are closing in like 15 minutes. I'm starting to have a panic attack because it's Sunday night. My house is 82 and there's no, like, Amazon can't get it to you until the next day. Like there's just none of the appliance stores are open. Like, we're just done. So at that point, I remember our neighbor, I'm just going to go ahead and paint all three of these while we're at it here. Oh, let me wipe that one off. So we're sitting in the parking lot of the third Ace, trying not to have a panic attack. And I remember our neighbor's dad owns some kind of air conditioning company because they bring the truck sometimes. So it's parked right next to us. I told my husband, I'm like, hey, can you reach out to them and see, like, maybe they have it on the truck, like maybe, and we'll just pay cash for it, is, just as a favor, because we take care of our neighbors. We watch their house, they watch ours, we watch their packages, So I was like, maybe they can help us out. So we get in touch with him. He does have one. The one that he has is really expensive because it's supposed to work on multiple units. So we're like, great, we'll take it. But then he also said, because we just had, before last night's dust storm, we had a huge dust storm and there was dust everywhere. So he's like, make sure to, blow out the unit. You need to change all your filters. So we did all that. And then he did test our, I keep wanting to say compressor. It's a capacitor. And he said it was fine, but he said it also could have just cooled down, and its testing is fine, but it's really not. So he's all, before you put in this new one, he's all, try and just get it going again, like put everything back together, change the filters and see if it will work. And then, you don't have to pay me for that. He wouldn't take any money for it. He's all, don't pay me for it until you have to use it. So we're like, cool. So to go to Home Depot, we get the filters because we were out of one size. And we put it in, we turn everything on, and it is kind of blowing cold air, but not really. So we gave it about an hour, and then we're like, this isn't working. So we had to turn it back off. Then we had to put in the new capacitor. I just got to add a little bit more white on this one. Put in the new capacitor, turn that on. We got the front room down to, I think, like 79 because we have one unit and two thermostats. But as soon as we turned on the second thermostat, they both started rising again. So we went online and everything was like, your unit's probably frozen. So we just had to shut everything off on Sunday night and go to bed. So I think it was 80 when I went to bed and it was 83 when we woke up. Good Lord. Hi, Miss Carolyn. Hey, Miss Lori. So we called the gentleman. I'm going to hit this with the, is this pretty dry? I'm going to hit it with the heat gun just to be safe here real quick. Little loud. All right. And then I'm going to show you, I'm just going to put the Mod Podge over it, but I have one that we're going to use instead. I got too many brushes over here so that we don't have to, so we know we're not going to have any issues. Okay, maybe not that brush. That's too thin. So we called that guy and we were like, hey, we need somebody to come look at this because the father-in-law that we had got the part from, he actually does commercial. He doesn't do residential, so he couldn't come over and help us. So the guy that we used for the mini split in the garage was like, I can come over, but I can't be there till the afternoon. So this was yesterday. So I'm like, poor Megan's going to die back there. So he's all, turn everything on. He's like, I'll be there by the time if it is freezing, I'll be there before it starts freezing again. Just turn everything back on and cool the house down. So we did that. So they came over probably about noon and had to mess with everything. And it was cooler in here. I think we got it down to like 79. And we usually run 78 anyway, so that's not that bad. We're just going to put the Mod Podge right over the white. And we just want to make sure that we get all the way around the edges so that it doesn't stick on us. Now, I'm actually only going to be doing the napkin on the bottom half of this, but I'm going to be doing a transfer on the top. So I'm going to take the Mod Podge all the way around it because that's going to help give the Mod Podge something to stick to as well. And if you get the Mod Podge on it, you can just take your finger and take it back off the inside if it starts to kind of pile up on you. So when they get here, they're going inside, outside, turning stuff on, turning stuff off. I think it was 105 yesterday. And at one point, or when they got here, they said the unit's frozen again. We have to turn it off. And then they said, not only do they have to turn it off, they had to turn the heater on to unfreeze the coils again so they could figure out what's going on. Because when my husband went up there the night before and it was on, he heard some hissing, like a hissing sound, and I guess that's not good at all. That's why we had to turn the whole thing off the night before. So poor Megan, she heard him, she was in the other room and she heard him say, we're gonna have to turn the heat on, and she's all, what? That's horrible. Yeah. Long story short, they think we have a leak and the coil has a problem and they're gonna have to order it. Good news is it's covered under warranty. This house is only 4 or 5 years old. The bad news is they really don't want to do it until it cools down. So we're kind of band-aided together now. The air conditioning is working, but it's just kind of, we have a temp fix on it right now until he said if it stops working again, we are going to have to go ahead and replace the thing. But they charge you a bunch of labor if they have to go up there during when it's hot, when it's this hot. And so if we can just keep it under control for this month or so till it cools off, then it will be cheaper because they'll cover our warranty covers the part, but it doesn't cover the labor. And y'all know, like, the labor sometimes ends up being the most expensive thing. Peggy says she thinks her chalk paint is getting old. It's not that smooth anymore. Peggy, that happened. That's what stinks. Like, I almost wish I got oh, this isn't it, but I got this size of like some of my colors, but they don't carry every color in this size because that's happening to me too on like the larger bottles of the colors I don't use that often. And it's a bummer because this stuff's like $6. The bigger bottles. Okay, so we have everything prepped. Now, I want you not to look at the top of this one. This is actually one of our prototypes. Yours is actually going to be, it won't have the etching on here because we were like, it doesn't make any sense to have the etching when you're going to put it right over the top. So just ignore that part. I'm using the ghetto ones to do the tutorial. All right, so we now have painted white, painted white, painted white plus Mod Podge. And we're just gonna, this has been sitting, so I know this is dry. We're gonna get out our masking tape. I wanna see how far you can see down here because I'm gonna use my lines here to kind of figure out where to put this masking tape. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna use the tape to kind of just make a line so I know how far up to put the napkin. I'm gonna do the bottom half napkin and the top I'm leaving open to put the transfer on. So for right now, I'm just gonna do a line. You could use a pencil too, but I'm just using the tape so I know where to line it up. I've got my iron on already. I'm looking for my napkin. Oh, Pam says you can spray the paint with distilled water to thin it back down. Ooh, that's nice. Hey, Lisa. Lori says it's been so hot here in Oklahoma, she can't imagine. Girl, I was like, it's not even, it's not even about me. Like, I didn't even care that it was hot. I was worried about my son being able to sleep and obviously the pets. We had all the fans on, so that helped. I'm just going to cut just a square of this out because I obviously don't need the whole thing. Hopefully I cut it big enough here. So I was just worried about that. Plus menopause, you know, I'm like, I don't think it matters if the air conditioning's on or not. I still sleep like a sweaty Bessie. All right, just making sure I got enough here. So you want to give yourself enough wide. You want to give yourself wide enough that you can kind of adjust where the, you know what? I'm realizing as I'm doing this, these napkins are coined. It's very subtle, but you still might be able to see it. So if you don't like the coined part, just cut it a little bit back. I'm not going to worry about it for right now, but if that bugs you, for me, it's more important because I'm chatting and not really cutting straight. It's more important for me to have this straight line. But if you don't want the coined part, again, I don't think we're going to see it once we press it. Okay, these are 3-ply, and these are, if you don't have them and you remember, they're actually coming, you're going to get one in your September kit. So you'll have one because we won't use it all. So you'll have plenty to you if you want to do this same exact one. Okay, like usually these come apart like on their own. If it's not, just kind of tear like a little corner so you can get some separation. Like I never have a problem with these because they're usually just coming apart on their own. Except for right now when I'm on a live. There we go. We just want to make sure we just get the top layer. All right, and then I'm going to use that straight edge to line up with, let me make sure I'm in the camera here, to line up with my ornament. Now, what you might want to do, depending on how OCD you are, I'm very, you might want to just look where your lines are ending up. I kind of like to center it so that the lines are, I have the same amount of whatever stripe on each side. So I've got it lined up there. I'm going to just hold it. I'm going to get my parchment paper on there. Transfer my, and if it's kind of going down in the middle, it's fine because we're going to sand off the edges. So we're just going to hit it with the iron. And then just make sure you kind of go inside those edges as much as you can, just so we get all of the little bits. All right, so when we get done, we have this. All right. We don't need the line anymore, so we can go ahead and take that off. And as far as sanding it, what I generally do is I will just cut, like just kind of cut up to, so it gives some give so you can get your sander in there. And then we'll just come along the outside. Y'all know I'm like a sucker for the buffalo check. All right, so we've got our bottom there. And then we're just going to come in and do the same thing. And if you need to, you can go in and give it a little trim. Like if it's fighting you, just clip off the little extra and then we'll clean it up with the sander. Now, same thing, you want to make sure you're sanding back. And you only use enough pressure to kind of break the napkin. And it is round, so you're going to have to kind of go at it at a little angle there. Now, what I forgot to do was kind of give it a little tug all the way around to make sure it wasn't lifting anywhere, but we look good. So cute. Okay. So transfers, what did I grab? I grabbed a whole stack. Hey, Miss Wanda. I'm hanging in there, girl. How are you doing? Okay, so this is the Oh Holy Night 2-pack that was dropped last week. So I want to use this one on the inside. Now, how I figure out where it needs to be is I take my pencil. Let me scooch this over because I'm not on camera again. So you're going to line it up like you would if you were putting it together. And then I would just take a pencil, and the design that I'm using, I know that this outside is going to be behind the topper, same here, and so is probably a little bit of Jesus's little manger there. So I'm going to kind of just make little marks of where it's going to end, because it's all going to be covered. You can also just erase them, or you can use that heat pen that you write on it, and then the heat, you can hit it with an iron and it goes away. But this is going to help me see like where it's going to be. And then also you can kind of get an idea. Now we're going to cut this design out so that it doesn't, in fact, let me do that now so you can get a visual. But I wanted to leave some room at the top because we are going to put a little bow on there. And so I'm kind of pushing the design down to the bottom. Here we go. So I'm going to push the design more to the bottom so that I have some room at the top for whatever I put up here. I'm going to try and do like a scrappy bow. All right. So I know that's where I'm going to put it. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to peel the top off. Don't touch any of the design because it will try and stick to your finger. And then from here, make sure your ornament's straight. And then I guess I really only needed that bottom line. So I just want to make sure that I have it covered so that the pencil doesn't show through. I'm going to place it, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit it with the precision transfer tool. Now, if you're new to us and you're not sure what this is the precision transfer tool. It is not included in the sets, but in the set you do get the card. Is it an embosser? What is it? The little card tool. So if you don't have the precision transfer tool, you can use that. I just like having the control to really get in here. Now don't worry about where it's coming off the edge here. We're going to sand that off. So mainly I'm just going to get this whole design, and then we'll start on one side, and then we're going to rub and peel. If it's not coming off, it's not ready. So just keep rubbing and then peeling it off. And then you'll see when we get to the edge here, that's like hanging off. That's fine. And so there we go. We have the design transferred. And we're going to take our sanding tool and we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're just going to lightly sand it, and it only needs to be enough that it just disconnects it there. And we'll do the other one. All right, now I'm going to I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to switch over here and I'm going to do the top before I put the transfer on. So I'm going to reuse this piece of tape that I have, and I'm just doing the line there. I want to make sure I get the tape pretty much right where the white is. And I'm doing this because I don't want to get any of the antique wax on the white that I already did. So I'm just going to take my wax, and I probably didn't even dab any in there, but I'm going to dab it in there. I always have this lovely plate that I just dab the excess off on. And then I always have a piece of cardstock here that I just use every time I wax. I'm sorry if you guys heard it a million times. The wax will come off of the mat, but what happens is while you're working, it can get everywhere. Like it can get on the ornament or on your hands, and then it gets on your ornament, and then it's just not any fun. So we're going to hit it with that. And then I'm going to come back. Don't use the wet corner that you use. Like pick a different section, and we can just rub off the excess. And then I'm going to leave this tape on here while I do the next part. I've never used this, so what I've seen, they just stick their fingers in it. All right, I poked the hole in the top. So I don't think it's going to take very much. So I'm just going to get like yay amount. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to rub it over the top. Now it does look like I got a little blob in the lines, so I can just come in here with my transfer tool and I can just scrape that back out. So if you lost some of the definition to your lines, you can just go back and do that. Most of this is going to be covered, I think, with the bow for the most part, but all right, that was super easy. And I'll play with that some more. Not today, but all right, then we can go ahead and we can take our tape off, and we've got, woohoo, we've got our ornament topper almost done. So next I'm going to do the sorry, the dog hears something. Let's see. All right, next I'm going to do the transfers for the wording. I'm going to put this away too. Now there's two sets that have the curved wording on them. Most of the curved wording comes on the Sacred Melodies. The whole third sheet of the Sacred Melodies has a bunch of these little, mostly song, Joy to the World, the Lord has come, Dashing through the snow, Glory to the newborn King, born the King of Angels, Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. So it has the curved wording. The other set that has the curved wordings is the names of Christ. So at the very bottom of the names of Christ, you've got good tidings, rejoice, and a child is born. So these ones will fit along the bottom, and the ones that go this way will fit along the top. Okay, so that's the same with these. These ones will fit along the top. These ones right here are for the bottom. So you have a bunch of choices of what you can use. I was looking at this Born the King of Angels. So I'm going to cut that one out. I'm going to use that one. So we're just going to cut out. Again, you can just rough cut these. Now this is where the precision transfer tool really comes in handy, because each of these letters is its own individual graphic. So we have to get each letter all the way rubbed down before we lift it off. What set did you say that transfers in? The words are in the Sacred Melodies. It's the one that has all of the hymnals on it. This set, it's the third sheet of this set. And then the gold ones, these are, this is the names of Christ. There's 3 sheets in here, one gold, one silver, and one black. Angelina says she loves these ornaments. What was the point of the last thing you rubbed in with your finger? Christine, that is, it's a rub and buff. It's a gold leafing. So it gave it, let me see it. Instead of being it might be hard to see in the light here. Instead of it just being the antique wax, it kind of gave it like a gold, like a brassy sheen. Is this a little bling, bling, bling? All right, we'll move this out of the way. Bring our ornament back here. And from here, what you can do is kind of get an idea of where it needs to be. And on this one, I can see I pretty much need to center the king, and it should be about right, but kind of get an idea of where it needs to be. Also, if you are having issues with the angle or you want a different angle, you can do what we did in the bonus night. We actually, this said Silent Night, Holy Night. It was one whole graphic. We just cut it, and then we put the Silent Night over here, and we put the Holy Night on this side. And then you can see we have Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and this one has one graphic there. So that's kind of how we did. So you don't have to use the whole sentence as a thing. You can cut it up and just use 1 or 2 words. All right, so we're going to peel off the back. We're going to be careful not to touch it. So make sure that you leave yourself enough room to hold it somehow. And if we don't press it down, we can have like a little, you can just tap it. This actually is kind of right where I want it, but you can just, if you don't like press it down, if you just kind of set it down, you'll have the ability to kind of wiggle it a little bit. But I like right where it's at, so I'm going to go ahead and press it down. I'm just going to use my fingers first, and then I'm going to come in here with the skinny end of the precision transfer tool. If you don't have the precision transfer tool and you're working on letters, you can use a popsicle stick so that you get them all down. But the letters are the one thing that is a little bit more challenging. It's not hard, but it does take a little bit more patience because otherwise you lose like your I's or parts of your T's. This one has an F kind of hanging out because each of these is its own individual graphic. So I'm going to give it a really good once over on every letter. And then I'm just going to pick an end and grab the protective sheet there. And then I'm just going to do one at a time. So I'm just doing one letter at a time. And when it's ready to release, it will come off. So don't fight it. Just let it do its thing. And again, we did the Mod Podge underneath, which I really feel helps. Normally, I would always just do it on fabric for sure. But lately, anytime I'm doing wordings over paint, I've kind of just been adding it and I seem to have less issues. Again, everything has to be dried and cured. You can't just do the Mod Podge, wait like 5 minutes and then do the transfer. You probably are not going to have success. So really give yourself some time in between the layers for things to dry. And my S at the end here is just being a little bit sticky. All right, there we go. All right, so we have the Born the King of Angels. All right, so from here, we are ready to put our ornament together, and then I will add all of the other stuff. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and flip this one upside down. We're going to get our E6000. You can use 8000, whatever you have. This one's just a little bit thicker. I feel like it's easier to work with because I just scrape it out. Now I'm going to have the biggest blob right here. Like you don't want to put so much it's going to squish out, but give it some glue. And the reason we use this glue with the wood is one, it's going to give a super solid bond. Two, it's going to allow us to like scooch it around and move it, where if you use the hot glue, like once you put it down, it's going to be like stuck. So it's really forgiving. So a little bit, little bit, little bit. So think 4 corners, even though this is round. You get it. Oh, someone's just ringing my doorbell. It's going to be crazy for just a minute. They're going up front. Okay, and from there, we're going to go ahead and press it down. Okay. Sorry, they're having to get my husband because I don't know who's here or what's going on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just like press it down. Oh, they said the AZ guy's here. I didn't even know he was coming. All right, so we're going to press it down and we're going to get everything connected. Now, it is going to, we can move it around, but we're going to work on putting the bow and everything on it next. And then before we leave it for the rest of the afternoon, we'll make sure it's centered again. So for right now, we're just going to kind of let it sit here and we'll kind of put it off to the side. Hey, Miss Teresa. No problem, Christine. All right, so we're ready to make a bow. Let's go ahead and grab our stuff here. They're moving dogs around. I didn't even know that they were coming again. They probably text my husband. Okay, so I just have some fabric scraps here. We're going to cut some of these. and you've probably seen me do the fabric straps before. I do need to keep in mind how small this is, so I probably want to do these pretty thin, as thin as I can. Thanks, ladies. They're all hurting the dogs trying to get them in the other room. So we're just going to take it, cut a little strip, and then we're just going to pull it apart. Now, for those of you that are loving the fabric, Barbara emailed me earlier today on where I get the fabric. The fabric is from Jubilee Fabric. JubileeFabric.com. It is another Christian business. She does quilting squares in 2 different sizes and all kinds of other fabric. They ship super fast. I absolutely love supporting them and working with them. So highly recommend. All right, I'm only going to do a couple of those. And then, so we really don't need, I can probably cut these in half. So I'm only going to need a couple of these. And I just tear what I need, and then I just keep them, the rest of the little scraps, in my little bucket over here. But I absolutely love these fabric scraps because the size of the projects we normally do are these smaller projects, and they just work so great. All right, so we're going to want to get an idea of how big we want this. I think I'm going to cut the end right there. So then I can just cut all of these approximately that same length. Oh, I just saw the AC guy go by my window out there. So we're just going to cut these little tails off. And then I'm going to cut this just because I don't have a lot of on this end. Now, if you want this end to be a little bit fluffier, you can just come in here and like pull some of the strings to get it so it's a little more raw since we cut it and it has like a clean cut. So just pinch and like pull off whatever. And then you'll get like a little, some more frayed on that side. All right. And then I just grabbed some gold because I thought, why not? So we'll cut a couple of these, and then I'm going to use some raffia as well. And then I have my button, but then I also grabbed some of these. So these were from my Hobby Lobby haul. Look how tiny these pine cones are. I got pumpkins on the brain. Angelia says she needs a bow maker. Oh, hi, Dee. Oh, thank you. Dee's new. Welcome, welcome. She looks like she loves all our stuff. I'm happy you found us. Peggy says, I never put the rub and buff over antique wax. I tried to apply it by itself. She says it looks better. Oh, girl, I don't know how to use it. The lady that I saw do it did it on a frame over like a painted frame. So that had like some kind of like, what do you call, like a pattern type deal. All right, these come in a stem. And then she just used it to highlight the parts that were popping up. I did get some frames in the Hobby Lobby clearance that had some of that. All right, we'll see. I'm going to see if I'm going to use this or the bow or maybe both. I don't even know. So that's how I saw her use it. So I thought maybe this would work, but it looks really good. It looks better in person. When I take pictures, you'll be able to see it better, I think. All right, you're going to need your, whatever you're tying your bow with. So let's put that in first. I always forget. And Angelia, this one that I bought off Amazon, it's linked in my favorite things post at the top of the Facebook page. You don't have to have one of these by any means. It's basically like a separate set of hands. So it'll hold everything for you. But if you don't have this, you can just make an X like on your mat or your surface. So don't stress out if you don't have it. All right, then I'm going to add the ribbon. And then I do need to grab a little, I'm going to add a little bit of texture. So I do need to grab a little thing of raffia. I'll try and find a skinny piece. Oh, look, here's my rat's nest bundle. Does everybody's raffia look like this? Because if it doesn't, like, oh, what are we even doing? All right, I'm actually going to use like this super skinny piece. Because I have to resist the urge to make a giant scrappy bow because our ornament is not giant. Actually, I'm going to just wrap it around my finger. So usually what I'll do is I'll take like, depending on how big, I think like 3 fingers is probably, because I want it smaller than the fabric. And then you can just spread your fingers apart to how big you want it. So I will just loop it like that. Maybe. And then grab the center. I'm going to have one long tail. That's fine because we're just trimming it. Oh my gosh, my fingers don't want to work today. There we go. And then I'm just going to stick that in there again, just to add a little bit of texture. When we get everything in there that we want, you can use this. I half the time I forget, but that'll kind of jam it down and hold the stuff in there so it doesn't pop out on you. And then you can tie the knot. Oh, my jute has like a branch coming out of it. We'll just cut that. All right, so we'll give it one. Then we'll go ahead and pull it out. And then I'll kind of squish it down. And I built it so that I want this to be the front. So I will take my raffia, it's trying to stick to it. I'll flip it over and then do the double knot on the back here. Yeah, Angelina, it really does make it easier. Mainly for me, like normally I would just use my teeth to like hold it, you know, but that's frowned upon in lives. So trying to be professional over here. Semi-professional. Lindell says she loves. Oh, Dave, you've never seen this? Yeah, it's the mini Bodabra. A lot of the crafters use that big one, but we always make smalls here, so I just use this little one. And it just works perfect. It comes with a whole thing of like gold. I think it's like cording. I never use it because it's like not the type of gold color that I like. It's like super gold. But yeah, it does come with that if you need it. All right, we're just going to cut off the tails of the jute because I'm not really going for that. Okay, and so here's a good example. My raffia is a little crooked, so I'm just going to tug it, kind of pull it where I want it. And I'm just going to cut off these because they're just a little bit long. And then I smush it a little bit. Now we could have added some more to make it like foofier. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see kind of where we're ending up. Now this is probably going to be way too big for that. And even my button is like a little big. So honestly, I think I'm going to leave the toppers off just for me because I've got enough going on here. And I'm just going to go ahead and attach it as it is. And now I forgot to mention, if you're sealing, you can seal here or you can seal before you put it together and stick everything together. That's probably the easiest for those because I know we have some new people. This is also linked in my favorite things. I use the Aleene's acrylic sealer in a matte finish. The 2-pack I have linked in my Amazon link has the matte and the, almost said brass, not the gloss together. The gloss I use for anything that's like glass or the rocks. The matte I pretty much use the most. And this is rated for indoor and outdoor projects. So that's why I got this one because I didn't have to have multiple cans. So I would seal it before you put your bow on. And before I put the bow on, I'm going to add the rope as well. So I have a thicker jute. This one. Oh, I forgot. I was going to add some beads. Let me get my beads. These were in, don't mind my mess. These were in my Hobby Lobby find. So Hobby Lobby has their Christmas 50% off right now. So these were $5, but I got them for $2.50. I got all 3 of these colors because I'm going to use them all year. You guys, they're already painted. So I know these are supposed to be garland, but we're going to use them for crafting. And I'm going to try not to have them go everywhere. But I was like, now I don't have to paint beads all year long. I'm not going to use this many, but I'm going to take enough off that I can tie a knot again. And I'll just put the extra ones in my thing. But ready to go beads. You guys, I was probably way too excited about this. But the painting the beads it's not difficult, but it's just messy. I don't know how many. I think we'll see what this looks like. All right. Now let me pull some more off so I have enough to tie a knot. But this is my plan. I just cut the end of the garland, pull some off I can put in my box, and then I'm going to stick this back in my bucket. So these ones are the smaller ones. I think they're 15 millimeter. They had the 22 millimeter in a bag. It didn't have the black, but I grabbed these two because I was like, I'm not painting beads all Christmas, I tell you. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and string it now. And again, we're gonna make sure everything's straight before we're done. But this is a thicker jute. So here's the one that we used for the bow. And then this thicker one I'm using to hang it. Alrighty. And what we're going to do, I'm always like, do I put a knot here? Do I not put a knot here? Do I just do the beads? I think I'm going to do a bead and then a knot. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to do the beads and then I'm going to tie a knot. Okay, we have the beater on the website. Highly recommend the beater exactly for this reason. So it has the little, I'm trying to show you, like it has the little like loop. You're going to put your string through the loop first. And you don't need to put all of it. Like you just need some tails sticking through. And then, wait, just kidding. I do this every time. Put your bead on first, then put your strings. You can tell I don't use it enough because I forget that every time. And then we're going to pull it through. I'm going to just get the little tips here. I might have to switch to the thinner jute because I grabbed this jute before I remembered I was going to put a bead in. All right, so I'm going to back it all the way up here because I'm going to do one at a time. Will it let me? It won't let me. All right, hold on. Yeah, dang it. I have to use the thinner jute. All right, well, that was a great idea. You can tell I haven't played with these beads yet because I didn't think this out at all. All right, thinner jute. We'll try it again here. I should have tried this part before the live. All right, we'll get our thinner one in here. All right, and then we're just gonna pull it through. Now I know it's probably because I have two. All right, it's only gonna let me do one at a time. So we're just gonna do the one, then we'll stick the other one in, and then we'll pull it through. So just do one at a time if it's giving you that issue. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna push that all the way down and then we'll do the next one. Okay, so I'll do it slower this time. So we put the bead through, we're gonna do one. And make sure you leave yourself enough jute that you're probably gonna lose this tip here. So then just go back through. Oops. Make sure you go the right way. So leave the tail off this side, go back through, and then you can grab the other one. I think they're checking because they had to top off our Freon to see if it's leaking any more Freon, to see if we can wait the month or not. Good news is it's cool in here, so we'll take it. All right, so we've got two on there. And I just have to decide if I want to do 3 or 4. This is our Easy Beater. It's on the website under Tools. It will save your sanity. Especially if you're trying to get, 2 pieces through. It also works well for ribbon. So, trying to get ribbon through these little holes can also be a nightmare sometimes. I think I'm going to do 4. And then I have to have the decision to tie a knot or not to tie a knot. They're staying down pretty well. I think I'm not going to tie a knot. Are you guys knots or no knots? What do you do? Sometimes I do a knot at the bottom, but then I don't like how it looks. And then sometimes I do a knot at the top. And then I don't like how that looks. So I think I'm just going to do no knot. We're free beading today. No knots. All right, so we've got our beads on there. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. And then again, just make sure you've left yourself enough to do a knot at the end. So sometimes I'll do a knot here. When you do that, then it just kind of makes this part look more like a separate loop. So I'm going to do no knot. And if you need to cut your jute shorter, feel free. Like if you don't want this to have this big of a loop. I don't know, there's probably like a specific length that the loop is supposed to be, but you know me, I don't know what it is. All right, so we've got our beads on there, and now we can go ahead and we can add our little bow. And for this, I'm just gonna do my hot glue, and I am gonna put the glue onto the actual base, not the bow. So I feel like that gives you better adhesive because it goes right where you want it. And then I just want to make sure that I pushed it high enough that my little bow is not going to cover up any of my wording. I mean, it is a little because it's a bow, but you're welcome, T. Yeah, it is a lifesaver. So highly recommend the Easy Beater. And that's it. Okay, I know we didn't use some of this stuff, but that's okay. So now we have this little one here. We still have our smaller one that we can do. So I'm going to take for that one, let's play with, we will do one of the hems, and I'll show you kind of how you can layer them. I'm just seeing which all hems I have here. I've got like multiple sets. So each set, because I know D is new, each set has 3 sheets of 12 by 6 transfers. And on the ornament maker ones, so this one is considered an ornament maker one, they're sized for 3-inch ornaments, okay? Same for the wreath maker one, which I think these, oh, we could do, I'll do a wreath maker because those are fun. So you just want to take, we're going to lose a little bit of some of these depending on which one we use, because this is a little bit smaller than 3-inch because it's inside of that. But I feel like this one will work really good. It just depends on how much of the wreath is on the outside. But you can just take it and see how much is going to be left over and if you want to use it or not. I'm going to use this angel one. So let me grab that. Sorry, I'm like packing up. I know I wanted, I might not have grabbed it. Did you guys know it's pumpkin spice day at Starbucks? Megan hooked us up and got us all pumpkin spice coffee this morning. I think it's turning on me because my throat's a little, what is that? Mucusy? Gross. So this is the 3rd sheet of the Sacred Season ornament maker. So the 3rd sheet has a bunch of all these little embellishments on there. So I'm going to show you how to layer those on here. Debbie says so cute. Thank you, thank you. All right, I'm just going to get some more stuff out of the way here. Look at me staying all organized. Woo woo. All right, we'll put this little guy up here so you can still see it. Put him over there. And then I'll show you some of the other ones we did at the end when I wrap it up here. So these layered ornaments, they are available on the website. They're available to everybody. When I checked this morning, we had 21 remaining. So snag them. The members have been buying them like 8 at a time. They're absolutely loving them. So we're going to cut out this one here. I already prepped my round. This was the inside that came inside of that. So I'm going to cut out this wreath here. And again, we're just going to rough cut it. Make sure you leave something to hold on to. And you can use the wreath and the verse separate. Like let's say I wanted this wreath, but I wanted this verse in it. You would just cut it out and just place them. So don't think that you have to use each wreath with each verse that's inside of it. We tried to make sure that they were cropped in there so that if you wanted to use a different verse with a different wreath, you could. All right, so we're going to peel off the back. Again, this one has a bunch of little wording, so we're going to have to be a little patient with it. I want to get ourselves straight here. Get my transfer tool ready. And I just want to get it kind of as centered as I can. I know I'm going to have a little bit of the greenery is going to be going off. That's fine. And it's going to, I have a graphic that might be covering the hole, and I'll show you what we'll do with that. But for right now, we're just going to get everything rubbed down. And for these, start from the center and work out. So we don't want to have like the graphic kind of bubbled in there. Now this one is going to be just a little bit tricky because we have the design going off the edge. We've kind of got to catch an edge where the design is already coming off. So just kind of figure out where that's at. For this one, it's right here. So far, this one's coming off really nicely. But if we need to, you know, go in there and get all those little letters, especially this one has a really thin font, and then it's got some sparklies over here. So I want to make sure to get all of those. I'm not going to worry that it's coming off the edge. We'll clean that up. All right, so you can see it kind of has all the little edges. You can rub it down if you want. If you just want to take your finger and rub it down, you can do that too. I'm going to take the sander and just go around the outside lightly. And just kind of sand them off. Now for sealers too, if you don't have a spray, you can use Mod Podge to seal the transfer. Just do a light layer. Also, last year, there was some crafters that work with resin, and they sealed with resin, and they were stunning. So you can use resin. Our transfers do work on wood, glass, metal, paper. What else? Cardboard, tile, ceramic, pretty much all the things. Now, if your graphic is over your hole, I just take a pencil and just kind of push it through, and that's going to rub it through so that I can put my string in there. So now we have the base design, and then on that same set, there's all of these little things that you can add. So if I want to add like this bow up here, there's a red bow I can add. If I want to add little ornaments throughout it, I can do that. We've also got these little bells, you know, depending on what fits and what looks you want. We don't want it too big because it will go over where it says the angel. There's poinsettias, like all the different things. They're designed to mix, match, and layer. So let's say for this one, I'm trying to see what would, let's say I want to put this little, will the truck fit? Truck will not fit. It's going to cover up my words. I'm trying to see something that'll fit. So you can kind of just look and see, is that going to work? And just put it over. You can also put the bow at the bottom instead of the top. Let me see what I have here. I should have thought about what I wanted to do before I was like, hey. Usually I have this figured out. Just trying to see what fits here. I need to do this little pine cone here. All right, so we're going to cut it out, and then you can move it around after you cut it out too. So now that we have it cut out, we can kind of see. Ooh, I think I'm going to put it right on this side there. Okay. So you can kind of just move it around, see where you want to put it. I know the truck is so cute. Angelia says she loves the truck. I know, it's so cute. I thought if you're doing it on your own, you can kind of figure out everything that you want before you put it all together. I was just kind of on the fly and was like, oh yeah, I need to do this one. All right, so same thing. I'm just going to rub it right over the other transfer. You can mix, match, and layer. That's what these are designed for. And I'm just going to come from the bottom because my top is kind of overlapping a little bit, and I'll have to sand it off. And then we'll just do the same thing. Just come in and there's a little tiny bit over here. We'll just sand that off. And then now we've got an added pine cone over here. So you can make the wreath your own. however you add them. Hold on, I'm just going to see if this goes through here. Just because I'm looking at it and I feel like I need to use this, but then I think we're going to have problems when it gets to the top there. Okay. Bear with me. I'm going to figure this out on the fly. I just stuck it through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually glue it here to the side, but there's enough of this to be able to use this as the actual loop to hang it. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to try and get it where I want here. Oh, my glue gun shut off. All right, turning my glue gun back on. All right. Bear with me on this. We're going to make this work, but I like this as the loop, and we're going to make another bow. So I'm going to get my colors out. So this is just one of my little boxes of Jubilee fabric. I have Christmas ones in this one, and then I have like the spring colors in another bucket. This should not be in here. See, just when I think I can get myself organized. I like to mix the patterns together. So I'll try and find ones that don't, that are not the same pattern. I'm trying to see which ones I have here. Do I want to keep these dark or bring in? I usually like to do a plaid and a stripe. Oh, do I have a checker? I feel like that stripe's a little too much, so we'll do that one. Again, personal preference, personal preference. All right, we'll put this down there. All right, so we'll get the bow maker out again. And this is going to help cover up this part too. Now, when you first cut it, like those other ones, you could see they were already started, so I knew which way to go. What I do is I just do a snip and see if it'll tear. And if it won't, like right now it's not tearing, then I know I need to come in from the other direction. So if you can't get it to tear, just know it's probably not you. We just need to go in from another direction. There we go. And now it tears. All right, so these ones I'm going to just cut right in half. And I did these ones a little bit thicker. I might not be able to use all these. If it's already cut a little bit, then I kind of know which direction to go from. Yeah, that one tore super easy. All right, just fold it over, cut it in half. Again, just pull the strings if you want a more frayed look at that end that you cut. And we'll do this one. I like that you don't have to be precise with these in any way whatsoever. It gives you a lot of room for grace. And if you've watched me before, you know that when it comes to bows, I need all the grace. Okay, we'll get our skinny string. Oops, that's not our skinny string. I'm not going to do any raffia on this one. And then we'll just make our X's again. I'm going to put this white one in the back because it is kind of a little stark compared to the other ones. And we're just going to X them. And I'll keep that. And you just rotate directions. You go one direction, then the other direction. I'm trying to like listen to hear if there's an update on the air conditioning. I don't know, he left already. All right, we'll pop it off. It will be a little flat when you take it off, so just give it a squish. And then we'll double tie it on the back. And then my glue gun is ready, so we'll be able to put this all together. The tinier the bow, the more, a little bit more dexterity you need, but we're going to make it work. All right, give it a good yank. We'll do one more and then we'll cut the little tails. Ooh, ooh. I got one little thing that was on the wrong side there. All right, and then we'll cut off these little tails and then we can glue everything together. All right, I am going to try and hold this and then I'm going to twist this. We're going to glue it too, but I just want to give it a little twist. All right, I'm going to glue the front first because I'm going to put this where I want it. Just trying to get an idea of how we're going to look there. Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and glue this down. And we'll just kind of hold it. I am pushing it a little bit up to the top, so it's kind of hanging off the edge here. And then I am going to add a little glue back here because I want to get this, I want this to stay twisted. Use your popsicle stick or something else. Don't burn yourself. All right, and then that's going to allow us to use this as the hanger. All right, so we've got everything attached there. And now we just need to add our little bow. If you have any little areas there that are bugging you, just chop them. And then I'm just going to separate the side a little bit. Like so. Okay, just trying to get an idea of where I want it. Be a little generous on your hot glue here because we've got the wire that we're sticking it to and the rope. All right, and I'm going to jam it in there. And while I'm pressing it, I'm just going to kind of move the pieces around where I want it to go. Oh my gosh, so cute. All right, and then you can, like, if you wanted to tuck some of these under the little pine cones, you can mess with it. So stinking cute. Covering a little of the words, but I think I'm okay with it. All right. So there's our second one. So cute. Hey, Judy. So we've made both of these. Again, the beads are not included. Those are just ones I got out of my stash. But we made both of these with the set that came in the one ornament. So you get the base, the topper, and then you get the insert. So you can make 2 ornaments with each kit that you get. They are $8 and they're on the site now. Let me show you a couple others that we did during the bonus craft night. So this is the other one that I showed you. So we got, these are all from the same set. And then this little poinsettia was actually from this set that I just pulled this one from. So there's a version that we did. And then I just used this little squiggly ribbon that probably has a name and I don't remember what it is. Then I did this one as well. Just used the Sleep in Heavenly Peace wording from the Sacred Melodies one, as well as the Silent Night one. And then for the insides, this is actually the Sacred Melody set as well. When we did the bonus craft night, we only used the Sacred Melody set. But this was just the jingle bells and then just this background and this jingle bells right here. And the house little scene and the little bells, those are transfers that I layered over the top of it. And then the third one I did is "O Come All Ye Faithful." I added all these little, actually this ornament is part of that transfer, but I added these hanging ones on there and I added the bow. And those were all part of the Sacred Melodies set. They were in here. So these are just some different ideas of what you can do with the layered ornament bundle. So that's why I just wanted to jump on and give you some ideas. I will tell you, I'm loving the beads. I'm probably going to add maybe some red beads to this one when I get off of here. This one, I just used some ribbon to hang it with. This one has the, what is this? The jute that is red and white striped that I have so much of it and I never use it for anything. I'm like, how cute would that be? So these ones are a little bit more plain. And then this one, we kind of gussied up a little bit with the little mini bow. But these would be so fun to put on a gift as the gift tag, as an additional like little gift. I know a lot of our ladies are resellers. Hey, Elizabeth, Denise, can the more of the ornament blanks be purchased separately? Yeah, they are sold individually. So for each set that you get for $8, you get the medium, the topper, and then the inside. So these 3 pieces all come together in one order because this is actually the part that we cut out for this. And then I just had my husband put a hole in it so that you could use it as well. So we don't have these individuals, this exact one. We do have other individual wood cutouts. They are a little bit bigger. They're the 4-inch size. Those are on the website. We also have the individual wood rounds, the individual acrylic ornaments in the clear and the white. Those are all available individually on the site too. And they are, the more you buy, the more you save. So if you get like 2, you get a discount. If you get 4, you get a bigger discount. If you get 6 or more, you get a bigger discount of the same ones. Elizabeth says she loves all of them. The wavy ribbon is called Rick Rack. I knew there was a name for it. Thank you, Elizabeth. Angelia says beads. Oh, I love the beads on there. Yeah, they are so fun. So I'm telling you, Hobby Lobby. I looked, you can't buy just the plain beads in this size. Are more expensive than buying these ones that are already painted. So I'm super excited about that. I might actually undo this one and add some beads, but super fun. So many different ways. As I told the members, if you guys are loving these layered ornaments, we actually have in process 3 more designs for the top that we're looking at releasing. And it's probably, we're looking at for workshop week to be able to do them for that. So if you're loving them, snag them now. We will not be re-releasing this design. It will be different. So this is just one of them. But I just want to show you a few ways that you could do them and how fun they are. And it is like a really solid, sturdy ornament. You could do the back as well. Mine are unfinished. But you could do and yours won't have this part on the back of yours. Again, this was one of our prototypes. The back of yours will look like unfinished like this. You could do the decoupage checker paper on this. You could paint it. These ones too, for the craft night, we actually took the silver all the way around the outside. I don't know if you can see it. So we did paint the outside of it on this one. And this one I did not. So I need to take the gold and go back around the outside because you can see I got some white here. This was before I learned my little wet towel trick. So I need to go back with my gold marker and cover the outside of that. You could also take a ribbon or even a jute and run it around. My jute doesn't want to pull. You could even take like your jute and run it around the outside if you wanted more of a rustic look. That's an option too. Or even like a super thin ribbon. Like that gold that I had, this one is probably thin enough. Yeah. You could run the ribbon all the way around the outside too. So there's a lot of different options that you could do for the outside as well. So many things. Thank you, PJ. Denise says thanks for the great ideas. Love it. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to take some pictures and get them up so you guys can see what they look like a little bit better since I forgot half my lighting this morning. But yeah, that's it. That's our tutorial for today. Now, I had told the members today we were doing the unboxing, but that was before I realized there was a whole nother week of the month left. When I got off the live, I was like, oh no, we're not doing that. So apologies, members, if you were like, I wanted to see the designs for next month. That's actually happening on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we'll be unboxing next month's kit. Members, at the end of the bonus craft night that we did on Thursday, I did a complete unboxing, not unboxing. I showed you the project and I also gave you a sneak peek of the project that we're doing the month after as well. So if you remember, go back and catch that, replay so that you can see the designs that we're dropping for September next month will be our last of the fall designs. And then we move into full Christmas after that. But like I said, we do have Christmas rice paper coming in the next week or so. So still a little bit more Christmas to come. I know there's at least one more transfer design. And if you loved the coaster maker last year, you're going to absolutely love it this year. It's bigger and better. Well, it's not necessarily bigger. It's better. We took all the feedback from last year, the designs that you all loved. We heard the Cardinals loud and clear. And we brought in some other fun stuff. So I can't wait to share that with you guys as well. But that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful week. Members, I will see you at Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the membership group. We will be doing our coffee mug sign from this month's kit, from the August kit. So this is the Decoupage one. And then this one is the rub-on transfer one. So we'll be doing that kit this Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific time in the group. Make sure you join us. Elizabeth said gingerbread, please. I'm trying to think if we have any gingerbread. There might be some gingerbread coming, but I don't want to promise you because I might be thinking of what is on one of the ones we released already. Because one of these has gingerbread. If it's not on one we released already, I know there's some there might be a little gingerbread coming, Elizabeth. I don't want to promise you, but I'm feeling like there is a little bit, a little sprinkle. But that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and until next time, happy crafting.